is a model of a dinosaur. The dinosaurs were a group of reptiles that disappeared from Earth at least 75 million years ago, long before the first man appeared. The word dinosaur means terrible lizard. How do we know there were dinosaurs? And how can we guess what they may have looked like? Let's see. These paleontologists have come from a museum to look for the fossil bones of ancient reptiles. A paleontologist is a scientist who studies fossils. Fossils are the remains of plants and animals of past ages. From previous fossil finds in this area, they know that their chances of finding fossils are fairly good. They've found something, some fossil bones embedded in rock. They remove some of the overlying rock and dirt so they can examine what they've found. They decide that their find is important enough to take back to the museum laboratory. First, they clear the area, being careful not to disturb the fossil remains. Now they begin the job of uncovering the fossil bones. They must work very carefully. The dirt is removed a little at a time to reduce the danger of damaging the find. Soon they are able to identify their find. It's the paddle or flipper of a plesiosaur. A plesiosaur was a large water-living reptile, or sea serpent, closely related to the dinosaurs. From the age of the rock in which it was found, they know that this plesiosaur lived perhaps 100 million years ago. When one side of the paddle has been cleared of dirt and rock, the other side must be cut away so that the entire rock slab, with the bones in place, can be lifted out. The slab will be covered with a plaster cast so the bones can be moved without crumbling or breaking them. First, pieces of wet newspaper are used to cover the bones in order to protect them from the plaster. Then plaster of Paris is added to the water. Pieces of burlap are soaked in the plaster of Paris. And carefully laid over the paper-covered bones. The plaster-soaked burlap will harden to make a strong cast. When both sides have been covered with plaster, a stick is placed along the length of the cast to prevent its breaking. After the plaster hardens, the plesiosaur paddle, with every bone in place, is carried back to the museum. At the museum, the paleontologists work in their laboratory on the job of preparing the fossil materials for study or exhibition. Carefully, the cast is cut away. Great skill and patience are needed. The paper is lifted off. The bones must be freed from the dirt and rock that still remains. When the bones are clean enough, a daub of paint is placed on each one. Then they are numbered. The paint on the numbers will make it easier for the paleontologist to put the bones together in their proper order after they are lifted from the plaster cast. Finally, when enough fossil bones of a plesiosaur have been gathered together, an entire skeleton is assembled. The new paddle is put in its proper place. The skeleton is mounted on iron supports to hold it in a natural position. The bones of many animals collected over many years have been used to make this skeleton. The shape of the bones and the position in which they may have been found help the paleontologist in his job. The plesiosaur's skeleton has been put together as it must have been when the animal was alive. Sometimes the museum may decide that a model of the animal is needed. A specially trained artist is called in. The artist works with the paleontologist to make a sketch of the plesiosaur's skeleton. From his sketch, he makes a detailed and accurate drawing of the animal as it may have looked. And from the artist's drawing, a model is finally completed. In the same way, models of other long-dead animals, like this Brontosaurus, are made. Finally, visitors to a museum may look at an exhibit like this one. This Brontosaurus was a dinosaur, probably the largest of all dinosaurs. A model of a man, built to scale, will give you some idea of its size. No men, of course, lived when the dinosaurs were alive. Brontosaurus was a plant eater. Some brontosaurs weighed as much as 50 tons, perhaps 10 times as much as a modern elephant, and may have been 60 to 70 feet long. The name Brontosaurus means thunder lizard. It gets its name from the fact that when it walked, it probably shook the earth, making a noise like thunder. This is Stegosaurus, one of the smaller dinosaurs, only 8 feet high and 15 feet long. Again, the model man will give you an idea of its size. Stegosaurus, too, was a plant eater. And the strange armor along its back was probably part of its defense against attack by the larger, more powerful flesh-eating dinosaurs. Its spiked tail could have been a handy weapon, too. Trachodon is called the duck-billed dinosaur. It measured almost 30 feet from its head to its tail. Notice the scale model man again. Trachodon walked upright. It lived in the rivers and swamps of North America, feeding upon water plants. The peculiar shape of its mouth gives it the name duck-bill. Paleontologists believe it may have strained its food from the mud, much as a modern duck does. This is Tyrannosaurus. The scale model man shows you its great size. Fortunately, perhaps, the last Tyrannosaurus died about 100 million years before the first man appeared. For Tyrannosaurus was the tyrant lizard, the most terrible of all the dinosaurs. Its skull measured more than 4 feet in length. Its sharp, pointed 6-inch teeth prove it was a meat eater. Few animals probably could defend themselves against its attack. The fossil bones of dinosaurs and other giant reptiles have been found on every continent. From fossils like these, we know that dinosaurs ruled the earth for over 100 million years, only to disappear completely. No one really knows why. The dinosaurs and the other giant reptiles are gone. But today, paleontologists and other scientists are continually searching for fossils in order to better understand the record of life on Earth.